On either side the river lie long fields of barley and of rye that clothe the wold and meet the sky, and through the field the road runs by to many towered Camelot, and up and down the people go, gazing where the lilies blow, round an island there below, the island of Shalott. To many towered Camelot, the yellow-leaved water lily, the green-sheathed daffodilly, tremble in the water chilly round about Shalott. Willows whiten, aspens quiver, shiver, the sunbeam showers break and quiver in the stream that runneth ever by the island, etc. Little breezes dusk and shiver through the wave that runs forever by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot. 4 grey walls and 4 grey towers overlook a space of flowers, and the silent isle embowers the Lady of Shalott. By the margin, willow veiled, slide the heavy barges trailed, by the slow horses and unhailed. The shallop flitteth, silken sailed, skimming down to Camelot. But who hath seen her wave her hand, or at the casement seen her stand, or is she known in all the land, the Lady of Shalott? Underneath the bearded barley, the reaper, reaping late and early, hears her ever chanting cheerly, like an angel singing clearly o'er the stream of Camelot, piling the sheaves in furrows airy. Beneath the moon, the reaper wary, listening whispers, 'tis the fairy Lady of Shalott. Only reapers reaping early in among the bearded barley hear a song that echoes cheerily from the river winding clearly down to the towered Camelot, and by the moon the reaper weary, piling sheaves in uplands airy, listening whispers, 'tis the fairy Lady of Shalott. The little isle is all enrailed with a rose fence, and overtrailed with roses by the marge unhailed. The shallop flitteth, silken sailed, skimming down to Camelot. A pearl garland winds her head, she leaneth on a velvet bed, full royally apparelled, the Lady of Shalott. There she weaves by night and day a magic web with colors gay. She has heard a whisper say, a curse is on her if she stay. And let's remember that gay is joyous. No time hath she to sport and play, a charmed web she weaves alway. A curse is on her if she stay, her weaving either night or day. So sort of like some tantric master, right? To look down to Camelot, she knows not what the curse may be. And so, well, it's important to be careful with the uncertain when you're dealing ethically. Therefore, she weaveth steadily, and little other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott, and moving through a mirror clear that hangs before her all the year, shadows of the world appear. There she sees the highway near, winding down to Camelot. There the river eddy whirls, and there the surly village churls. She lives with little joy or fear over the water running near. The sheep bell tinkles in her ear, before her hangs a mirror clear, reflecting towered Camelot. And as the mazy web she whirls, she sees the surly village churls. And the red cloaks of market girls pass onward from Shalott. Sometimes a troop of damsels glad, an abbot on an ambling pad, sometimes a curly shepherd lad, our long-haired page in crimson clad, goes by to towered Camelot, and sometimes through the mirror blue the knights come riding two and two. She hath no loyal knight and true, the Lady of Shalott, but in her web she still delights to weave the mirror's magic sights. For often through the silent nights a funeral with plumes and lights and music came to Camelot, went to Camelot. Or when the moon was overheard came two young lovers lately wed. I am half sick of shadows, said the Lady of Shalott. A bow shot from her bower eaves, he rode between the barley sheaves. The sun came dazzling through the leaves, and flamed upon the brazen greaves. A bold Sir Lancelot, a red-cross knight, for ever kneeled to a lady in his shield, that sparkled on the yellow field, beside remote Shalott. The gemmy bridle glittered free, like to some branch of stars we see, hung in the gold galaxy. Hung on the gold galaxy. The bridal bells ring merrily as he rode down to Camelot, and from his blazoned baldric slung a mighty silver bugle hung, and as he rode his armor rung beside remote Shalott. All in the blue unclouded weather, thick jeweled shone the saddle leather, the helmet and the helmet feather burned like one burning flame together as he rode down to Camelot. As often through the purple night, below the starry clusters bright, some bearded meteor trailing light moves over still Shalott. His broad clear brow in sunlight glowed, on burnished hooves his war horse trode, from underneath his helmet flowed his coal-black curls, as on he rode, as he rode down to Camelot. From the bank and from the river he flashed into the crystal mirror. Tira lira, by the river, sang Sir Lancelot. She left the web, she left the loom, she made 3 paces through the room. She saw the water lily bloom, water flower bloom. She saw the helmet and the plume. She looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide. The mirror cracked from side to side. The curse has come upon me, cried the Lady of Shalott. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning, the broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining. Over towered Camelot. Down she came and found a boat, beneath a willow left afloat, and round about the prow she wrote, the Lady of Shalott. Outside the isle a shallow boat, beneath a willow lay afloat, below the carven stern she wrote, the Lady of Shalott. And down the river's dim expanse, like some bold seer in a trance, seeing all his own mischance, with a glassy countenance, did she look to Camelot, and the closing of the day. She loosed the chain, and down she lay. The broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shalott, lying robed in snowy white, that loosely flew to left and right. The leaves upon her falling light, through the noises of the night, she floated down to Camelot. And as the boat head wound along, the willowy hills and fields among. They heard her singing her last song, the Lady of Shalott. A cloud-white crown of pearls she dight, all raimented in snowy white, that loosely flew her zone in sight, clasped with one blinding diamond bright, her wide eyes fixed on Camelot. Though the squally east wind keenly blew with folded arms serenely, by the water stood the queenly Lady of Shalott, with a steady stony glance, like some bold seer in a trance beholding all his own mischance. Mute with a glassy countenance, she looked down to Camelot. It was the closing of the day. She loosed the chain, and down she lay. The broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shalott. As went to sailors while they roam by creeks and outfalls far from home, rising and dropping with the foam from dying swans, wild warblings come, blown shoreward, so to Camelot. Still as the boathead wound along the willowy hills and fields among, they heard her chanting her death song, the Lady of Shalott. Heard a carol, mournful, holy, chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her blood was frozen slowly, and her eyes were darkened wholly. A long-drawn carol, mournful, holy, she chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her eyes were darkened wholly, and her smooth face sharpened slowly. Heard a carol, mournful, holy, chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her blood was frozen slowly, and her eyes were darkened wholly. Turned to towered Camelot, for ere she reached upon the tide, the first house by the waterside, singing in her song she died, the Lady of Shalott, under tower and balcony, by garden wall and gallery. A gleaming shape she floated by, coarse, dead pale, between the houses high, silent into Camelot. Upon the wharfs they came, knight and burgher, lord and dame, and round the prow they read her name, the Lady of Shalott. A pale, pale corpse she floated by, dead cold between the houses high, dead into towered Camelot. Knight and burgher, lord and dame, to the planked wharfage came. Below the stern they read her name, the Lady of Shalott. Who is this, and what is here? And in the lighted palace near died the sound of royal cheer, and they crossed themselves for fear, all the knights at Camelot. But Lancelot used little space. He said she has a lovely face. God, in his mercy, lend her grace, the Lady of Shalott. Well, it's good that he distinguished, the physical gift and otherwise. They crossed themselves, their stars they blessed. Knight, minstrel, abbot, squire, and guest. There lay a parchment on her breast that puzzled more than all the rest the well-fed wits at Camelot. The web was woven curiously, the charm is broken utterly. Draw near and fear not, this is I, the Lady of Shalott. Now, whether decks of cards or other stories, we can definitely compare characters, can't we? Mythological elements, too.